From Stettin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, an iron curtain has descended across the continent.
Shipped without pause from 8 different airfields in the Western Zone. And by Christmas, American and British planes had made 100,000 trips and carried a total of 730,000 tons into Berlin. Even cars were transported. As an additional boost to the airlift, the RAF introduced its Hastings, each carrying over 9 tons. At the 3 airports in Berlin, Gatow, Tempelhof and Tegel, aircraft were landing or taking off every 90 seconds. Commonwealth crews from Australia, New Zealand and South Africa, together with their British charter colleagues, all of them played their part with the United States Air Force in maintaining this non-stop operation. Yes, the life of Berlin has been maintained.
When Berlin fell in May 1945, the Russian people, who had seen 27 million of their compatriots die in the war, felt that they had earned a better future. It meant nothing to Stalin.
The great tragedy of the whole Soviet experience was the sense that people were sacrificing for a day that never came.
Now isolated behind an iron curtain, Stalin's paranoia increased. He found a new enemy in the one people who had suffered more than most during the war.
A lot of leading Jews in all fields were arrested and accused of being in some kind of Zionist plot.
In what became known as the Doctor's Plot, Jewish physicians were charged with poisoning people with drugs and killing them on the operating table.
They were people who had no national loyalty, so it was natural to accuse the Jews. Stalin suspected that they were more loyal to the new state of Israel than to Soviet Russia.
Stalin had already laid plans for the mass trial and deportation of Soviet Jews. We'll never know if Stalin's final solution would become reality. On the night of March the 1st, 1953, Russia's dictator suffered a stroke and died.
It is difficult to even list all my friends and acquaintances. Those closest to me, my relatives, they all died, despite being completely innocent. They were arrested, taken away, beaten up. They are forced to confess to everything and shot. It happened to millions.
The greatest tragedy for the Russian people is that the man who murdered relentlessly throughout his years in power, whom the West affectionately nicknamed Uncle Joe, would never be called to account for his crimes.